Welcome to No Rules Review with your host, Ethan Millay. Hey everybody, Ethan Millay here, and today we're going to be looking at Dominion by Donald X. Vaccarino. Dominion is a deck builder, deck building game, which means during the game you are building your deck of cards by using cards to buy other cards, to give you the ability to buy more cards with those cards while you're buying cards. And yeah, my first reaction when I heard this, when I watched a video on Dominion, was that it sounded so boring. And I actually avoided it for quite some time because I was wondering why anybody would enjoy a game where you were buying cards with cards to buy. I'm not going to do it again. I gave Dominion a try eventually, and actually, I really enjoy it. Yes, you are buying cards with cards to get cards, but it's so much more than that. It's an efficiency engine. Dominion, like many deck builders, is about optimizing your deck. It's about buying cards to give you the most bang for your buck. You can fill your deck with lots and lots and lots of cards, but then getting the cards you want, since you have a limited draw every turn, can be more difficult. So you don't want to just fill it up with wasteful cards. You want to fill it up with cards that are meaningful. And that's the crux of the issue in every game. That's your internal angst, is trying to figure out what you want to buy, when you want to buy it, and how much use it's going to be to you. In any given game of Dominion, there are 10 cards set out in front of you that you can choose from, in addition to the money cards and the victory point cards, but I'll talk about those more later. And you have to decide with those 10 cards, what is the best way to use them? How many of each do you buy? A lot of games you're going to ignore a lot of the cards. Some games you're going to double down on one of the types of cards, or maybe a few of the types of cards, but you got to figure out what works best. And so it's fun. You and the other players are all trying to figure out this puzzle as quickly as you can. You want to find the solution to this puzzle before anybody else does, and not make it obvious what you're doing until it's already too late for them. Because in Dominion, in addition to buying the cards that are action cards and money cards, which will allow you to buy other cards, you are buying victory point cards, because at the end of the game, whoever has the most victory points wins. So you want to buy these victory point cards. The thing with victory point cards, though, is they do nothing. So as you put them in your deck, you are intentionally diluting the efficacy of your deck in order to win. So you can start buying those victory point cards at the beginning of the game, and actually people start with some, but they're a waste. They're dead weight. So you don't want to buy them until you know you have everything in place, that this optimum system can take these hits, but still keep churning out victory point cards until the end of the game. So that's neat. It's hard to teach optimal play in this, and I'm not going to say I understand the full optimal play. I only have a few dozen plays under my belt. But it's neat to learn as a player that there's this shift mid-game, well, maybe not mid-game, but at a point in the game. There's a shift from buying the cards that let you do things to buying the victory point cards, and sometimes your hand can get forced. You can be building up this amazing deck, and then an opponent buys a victory point card. You realize they're ready to rush the end of the game, and you now suddenly have to start buying victory point cards to try to outdo them. So it's a lot of fun. It can play fairly quick. The base game goes from 2 to 4 players. I play it a lot too, and it's lightning fast 2-player, because you play your cards, your opponent plays, and you're just getting your new hand of cards when they're done, and then you play, so it goes very quickly. There's not a lot of theme in Dominion, so if you're looking for that, there are other more thematic deck builders. It is just a deck building game. There are other games out there that use deck building as a part of what you're doing, but this started the genre, and it is sort of, in my opinion, the perfection of that genre, because it's so pure. You are just building a deck. Now, the inspiration for this game comes from years and years of people playing competitive card games like Magic the Gathering and other things, where you would build your deck beforehand. I've never done it. I've tried doing it. I don't see the appeal in it. It doesn't hold anything for me. So things like all the living card games that are out there nowadays, I don't enjoy, because I don't have the mind to know how to optimally build a card. But in the constraints that Dominion gives you, here are the 10 cards, figure out how many you want, and you can't just take them. You have to buy them during the game. It works perfectly for me, because those constraints make it. When I have those, I've had some living card games I've tried and then traded away or sold. The problem with that is all of these cards are available, and they say, well, just pick what's best, and it's too wide open. I like the constraint of Dominion. So if you've tried to build decks in things like Magic or the living card games and didn't enjoy it, and say, well, why would I enjoy a game solely about the one activity I don't enjoy? Give deck builders a try, because those constraints really make it. They're the spice that makes what would otherwise be a very bland activity or something you can enjoy. They did just release a second edition of Dominion. I have the first edition. I got the replacement cards, which again, to show how not with the competitive scene of Dominion I am, they replaced 7 types of cards because they said they either weren't getting used enough or they were overpowered. I don't know. When I got the replacement cards, the ones that left the game we didn't use anyway, so I guess I can agree with that assessment if they were removed because they weren't useful. I've yet to try out the new cards. I'm excited to try it out, but as it stands right now, if you find the first edition, it's a great game. There are, I don't know, it's going to be 20 to 30 different types of cards, and if you take 10 out each game, the amount of combinations you could play are very, very large. You know, let's say it's 24, so it'd be 24 times 23 times 22 times 21, all the way down 10 multiples of that. So many, many combinations. You'll never play the same game twice. Actually, I don't know if it would quite be that because you could use a card. Anyways, it's a great game. You can get it fairly cheap, especially now that the second edition is out. You got to find a lot of people getting rid of their first edition cards, and it is a pure, enjoyable experience for 2 to 4 players. It can be fairly solitaire. There are some attack cards, and your group can decide if you want to use those attack cards or not. I know my wife personally does not enjoy when the attack cards are in the game. So you can just not include those, and it's still a great game. Attacking or no attacking, it's still a great game. I can't recommend Dominion enough. Do not be put off by the fact that it sounds like the most boring game on earth, because it's not. If you like what you saw today, share, like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye now. This has been another No Rules review by Ethan Millay. If you enjoyed this video, consider sharing, commenting, liking, and most importantly, subscribing. For this and other great games, join us over on BoardGameGeek.com. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.